Okay, what's up, guys? This is Crimson 60620, and I'm here. I know I've been like a little bit off lately, but I want to thank everybody who's been keeping up and watching my videos. And of course, this is multi-streaming going out to Twitch, YouTube, and fucking Facebook. Now I know it seems like I'm doing a lot today, and basically what I am doing today is I'm actually doing some art. Duh. And I'm gonna do some gaming and commentary. I just want to really work on this art. As you guys can see, I've been pretty busy. So the first thing we're gonna do today, since we're working on art, let me just move my camera back a little bit, is we're just gonna be working on the art. Yeah. All right. So, of course, I got to work on the shadowing. I've already pre-colored it. Um, just want to work on the shadowing. This piece I've actually done shadowing for, the breakdown of how I'm gonna do the shadowing, and I'm gonna get to it. I have my trusty dusty markers, and we're gonna actually get into some gaming and some commentary, and I'm gonna actually be doing some commentary while we're doing I'm gonna be doing some commentary while I'm actually doing the coloring. So, let me just pull up the display and let's let's work on some videos. And this is actually gonna be pretty fun because we're not gonna do the general video and that I normally try to do, but we're gonna have some fun. So let's go to YouTube. Let's listen to some videos, and we're gonna actually comment while we're watching this. Okay. Um, Watch later. All right, so our first video, which realize how fucking, I didn't realize how popular he was right now, but it seems like you guys like a lot when I talk about um, Professor Wolf. So we're gonna actually do some Professor Wolf's video, and while I actually just work on coloring. So let's go. Economic update. Let's hear it.
Welcome, friends, to another edition of Economic Update, a weekly program devoted to the economic dimensions of our lives and those of our children.
All right, hold on, guys, 1 second because I actually have to go get my pencil. Hold on. All right. So if you don't know, Professor Wolf does a weekly podcast where he talks about economic issues. And it's actually pretty cool because he's a Marxist economist, and he talks about some of the things that it's entry level shit that anybody can actually pick up, and just more of a commentary on just some of the stuff that we've seen socially throughout history, has a historical spin on things. So let's see Professor Wolf talk about this.
I'm your host, Richard Wolf. I want to begin today with some updates that struck me over recent weeks as extraordinary. The first one has to do with the Trump administration's admission that the deficit in the United States for 2019 topped $1 trillion. In other words, the Trump government spent $1 trillion more in this last year than they took in taxes.
All right, so just to give you guys a heads up, this is from a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry for being as late to see it as I am, but yeah, this is this is one of those things where it's just Republicans talk about deficits and making sure that Democrats aren't taxing and spending, and they're the ones who always blow up the deficits. Always blow up the deficits. And it's actually quite ironic because Democrats have this aversion to say like, well, we don't want to just tax and spend, and they end up being the ones who save the economy. And they fall into this whole category of that, well, the government doesn't work. And it's like, if you are the party that believes that the government is supposed to fucking help you, then you're supposed to be the party that says, hey, the government works. But yet, they let the Republicans control the narrative where it's just like, oh, the government doesn't work. And it's just ridiculous. But let's continue.
Why is this interesting? For a number of reasons. Number one, when running for office, Mr. Trump promised to do the opposite, to reduce the deficit in this country to either a surplus, literally get rid of it, or at least to sharply reduce it from what he accused the Obama administration of having done. The reality is that he has done exactly the opposite. Number two,
By the way, where's that wall? I'll wait.
the biggest single cause, there are two major ones, but the biggest single cause of this catastrophic deficit is the tax cut of December 2017, which drastically cut taxes on corporations and the rich, therefore bringing in less money than before. And the second biggest cause was the size and increase in the military budget in the United States. So you cut the taxes and you spent more money, not just on the military, but particularly on the military, one of the largest outlays any case in this country, and presto fixo, you've got a fat deficit.
And this is ironic because which you can actually it's been proven. When you cut taxes, that means less revenue comes in. Corporations don't spend more money. And it's like what we talked about with Mark Blythe. Mark Blythe says it perfectly. If people, you and I, aren't spending money, corporations aren't spending money, that deficit needs to be made up by the fucking government. But again, government spending bad. Let's continue.
Next item that makes it interesting. A deficit is a boosting of the economy, because basically what you're doing is that the government, in addition to all the spending we do as individuals and all the spending done by businesses for their activity, now the government is the third basic spender, and it is spending like a sailor. It is spending way more money than it takes in taxes. That is a boost to the economy. If you put that together with the last 2019 year stimulation from the Federal Reserve, pumping hundreds of billions of dollars of new money into the economy, you have a staggering stimulus. The fiscal deficit spending plus the monetary increase of the money supply. Why is that happening? Well, unless you've not been paying attention, you know. It's to get Mr. Trump reelected. It's a boost. It's like giving a shot of adrenaline. to somebody who's already running as fast as he or she can.
So let's just talk about this. Let's actually address this situation. The thing about it is, yes, he's absolutely right. The government is spending like fucking crazy because they're trying to boost this whole, like, he's trying to boost and I'm just trying to make sure I'm streaming for you guys, but he's actually trying to boost and it's active. I'm so cool. That economic growth, that economic spending, and it's just like, but it's not working. We have been. This is before we've actually saw the. This is before we saw the government going, the stock market crashing. And today, Monday, March the 9th, we literally saw the stock market, when it opened up, it dropped 1,800 points. But let's continue.
To get them over that last hurdle so they can get themselves reelected. That's all. Please notice that the Democrats are now screaming, look at the deficit. That's what the Republicans used to scream at the Democrats for. It's like musical chairs where we replace one another. The
Exactly what I was just saying. But let's continue.
Republicans are acting like Democrats, and the Democrats are acting like Republicans. And what's the lesson there? That the difference between the two of them in economics, it isn't there. They're just changing roles because they're just playing games to get in and out of office. The impact on the economy played by one is similar to the game played by the other. And since one is in office and the other one out, and then vice versa, of course they end up saying the same things to one another. It's why we need a real other political party, because the two we got literally are Tweedledum and Tweedledee. My next update has to do with a tragedy. Here's a statistic that says 14 out of the 15 countries who spend more than 18% of their tax revenue paying off debts. 14 out of 15 of these countries, the worst indebted countries in the world, on average, cut their social spending for their people by 13%. Here's the point. If you get yourself into debt as a foreign country, if you're so desperate that you have to borrow in your society, you will regret it.
And so that's actually a very, very poignant point. You see where you have countries where, and it's a little bit chilly, so I'm going to actually close my window. Give me a second, guys. It was hot in here before, and I just had to like close the window. So, yeah, that's actually, it cooled it down. So, you see where, like, think about countries like Greece. So you think about, countries where, because you had to take out debt, you had to have cut in social services, and it screwed countries over. But let's continue.
That, or to be more accurate, the mass of people will regret it because the government will have to raise taxes to pay off the debt, and it'll do that by cutting services, by cutting money for schools and hospitals and roads and all the rest. Now let me take it the next step. Here's a statistic. The 30 countries with the lowest amount of debt raised their public spending by 14% over the same period. You couldn't have it clearer. Go into debt, you will hurt your people. Keep out of debt, you will be able to help your people. So then why do third world countries, Asia, Africa, Latin America, and beyond, why do they go into debt? And the answer is capitalist corruption. Let me explain. The banks in New York or London or Paris have every interest in lending at high rates of interest to governments in the third world. All you have to do is convince, and that's a polite word for bribe, local officials to cut a deal. You can make it sweet for them by giving them a little extra under the table or in a Swiss bank account. So those local officials sign an agreement. They take out a loan. That allows them to do all kinds of fun things for a year or two in their country. So they look real good and get elected. Meanwhile, the country is saddled with debt. And that'll be paid over the long run by cutting back on social programs and using the money instead to pay off those bankers.
So that's actually a really good point. It's a real key point because what you see is basically, and I swear to God, this is praline, but what you see is Professor Wolf is just talking about how a lot of this is really just a capitalist banker's trick of saying, well, you want your people to feel like you care about them. So why don't you take this loan out and really show them that you really fucking care? And of course, it's always with some string or stipulation attached where it's it's more or less a way of controlling that politician by getting them hooked. And of course, they bribe them. Of course, they bribe them. Of course, they bribe them. And if even if it's even if it's not illegal, they try to give them money to take the loan. It's like those things where you see when you get payday loans where they say, "Oh yeah, no money down for this one," or "You always approved," and then there's stipulations behind it. So basically, bankers are becoming payday loaners to fucking countries. But let's continue.
As long as you allow private banking and corrupt officials to get together and put a debt on the mass of people, you will see the tragedies we have all around us. My next update has to do with the city of Amsterdam in Holland. It did something interesting recently that I thought many of you, particularly those of you in between the ages of 18 and 34, might find delicious. Here's what Amsterdam did. The city has decided to buy the debts of young people. That's right. Young people 18 to 34 who've acquired debts to go to school, to live, whatever. The city will buy the debts from the lenders. So now the young people will owe the city the money because they own the debt. And the city will forgive some or all of it. Why? Because that population, they say, has incurred debts that are dangerous to the community. They're going to bail them out by giving them cuts in their debts no matter where they acquired them.
All right, so this is actually really fucking cool. And like when I first heard this, I was like, nah, it can't be. They can't be doing that they can't be doing that for people. But they came to the realization that if we have young people who, if we have young folks who can't actually pay their bills, they have debts, and they are saddled with this burden of, not being able to pay their debts, not being able to, just live life, then that's going to fuck up our economy. People laugh about how, Sanders actually says, well, we want to end student loan debts or end medical debts. And this is that to the extreme. This is definitely that to the extreme. And they're saying they're
laugh about how,
oh shit. Sorry. This is that to the extreme. This is them actually saying, like, we want to take care of our people. So Let's continue.
Wow. Now, many of you hearing this might wonder, gee, you're just helping these people. They contracted for the debts. So let me remind you of what governed the good leaders of Amsterdam. They said something like this: over the last 10 years, governments have bailed out the banks who went bankrupt, the big corporations, here in the United States, for example, Caterpillar, General Motors, the AIG insurance company.
Exactly.
We bail out all kinds of people. Why the hell shouldn't we also bail out the indebted young people who need to get a new, fresh start in life? And they need to be free of these debts. So they're doing that too in Amsterdam. Just imagine what it might be if they did that elsewhere too. It might catch on. In the hopes that it might, I decided to talk to you about it.
You
Here's
boss,
another update.
man.
People have asked me, why is Mr. Trump and other folks like him, Boris Johnson, leaders in Poland, Hungary, and elsewhere, why do we call these strongman governments? What's going on with their being aggressive in using the government to punish friends or enemies, depending on your point of view? Mr. Tariff Man, that's what Trump calls himself, whacking everybody he can with a tariff. Mr. Johnson, cutting the Europeans off, and all the rest. And the answer, you should understand, has mostly to do with their own personal political agendas.
Exactly.
When you hit people with a tariff, you create terror among businesses. Those who haven't been hit by a tariff will now give you big donations so you don't go after them. If you have been hit with a tariff, you are now spending big bucks to get the politician to give you an exemption. There are thousands of applications for exemptions from tariffs pending right now in Washington.
So, and here's the thing with that. It's just a way to fucking basically get bribes. And I know it sounds like I'm just being an asshole when I say that. It's that corporations are trying to do anything to make sure that they don't get tariffed out. Look at Huawei, the Huawei Corporation. They got put on the list, and they were used as a fucking example by Donald Trump to say, "Don't fuck with us." Even though it was nothing specific with the way that they did business, they were just using an example to say, "Look what we can do to a company," and it ended up fucking them over because it was just a tool to Trump, and that's the fucking scariest part about it. These people have just ideas and ideas and plans of grandeur that you're making me look bad, so I'm gonna make you feel bad, and it's just why play with people's lives like that, and that's a shame because you can use your power to be so fucking helpful. But no, I feel bad about myself, and now I'm either gonna make a company hurt or you gonna suck up. But let's continue.
You get all kinds of people, the beneficiaries, but also those hurt by the actions of the strong man. The beneficiaries want to keep him there, and the opponents want him to change his policies. He collects enough money to win the next election. That's what much of this is all about.
Exactly.
Last item comes from the Bloomberg News Service, January 16, if some of you want to follow the details.
Okay, let's
What
go.
Bloomberg did, very smart, was to ask the question. The big Trump tax cut of December.
Now, press F in the chat to show respects for Mike Bloomberg's presidential run. He thought he can actually come in and make money, and like just spend money and win the presidential election. And I mean, like, yeah, he did get some sort of push out of it, but it wasn't enough. But let's continue.
December 2017 was promised to kickstart the economy, to boost the economy, and to lead, above all, to many jobs. And particularly in the banking sector, since the banks were major beneficiaries of that tax cut. And here's what Bloomberg, no radical Bloomberg, no critic of capitalism Bloomberg, here's what their conclusion was, as you can see from the Bloomberg News Service story of January 16th. Total employment in banks in the United States shrank between December 2017 and today.
It's like he was trying to keep it up. Um, he was trying to keep up the straight face with it, and it was just funny. But let's continue.
All the promises of more jobs, false. Reality, fewer jobs. What did the banks do with their increased profits? By the way, the big banks, the six huge banks that are dominant in the United States, got more profits in the last 2 years, 2018 and 2019, than they had ever seen before. The tax cut was an enormous benefit to their bottom line, increasing dividends, increasing their liquid cash, increasing the value of their stocks, you name it. But they didn't hire more people, they reduced their payroll. They took the profits, boosted their own stock by buying it back from the stock market, pushing up the price, and by giving dividends to their shareholders.
So let's just talk about stock buybacks, and it's actually quite poignant because, especially those of us who play video games, we've seen it where a company does a stock buyback, and in case of like Activision Blizzard, where they did a stock buyback and said, "Oh, we have so much money and we've excelled so much," but then turn around and lay off people. It's a way for presidents as a company to actually get more money because they are paid in stock buybacks and they don't give a fuck about the health of the company. But let's continue.
And big pay packages to their top executives. Don't be fooled. The arguments that politicians make as to why they have to do something that benefits the rich are never explained to us as being done to benefit the rich. Just like they're never being explained to us as an act to benefit the rich in exchange for donations from the rich to the same politicians. Instead, we are told wonderful, glowing stories about how, for example, the tax cut of 2017 is going to boost jobs, is going to boost employment in the banking sector, is going to have all these wonderful social benefits.
And yet and still, with those tax cuts, and to be honest with you guys, I was part of a because of the tax cuts, it actually led to part of my company actually being sold to another company. Now I'm not gonna say what that was in totality, but it was, well, we needed cash on hand, so let's actually sell this part of the company to another company. It's never used. Whenever you see big tax cuts, it's never used to benefit those employees. It's always used to benefit the shareholders. But let's continue.
Don't be fooled. The lobbyists teach the politicians, we want you to do this for the company that pays us. But we know that you're a politician who has to get reelected. So here is a memo with 6 lovely talking points. You can go on Face the Nation next Sunday and explain to the people why what you're doing for us is actually done for all of them. By the way, that's how the tax bill of 2017 was sold to the American people and their political leaders, where the word leaders is in quotes. We are at the end of the first half of our program.
All right, so we're just going about that, going over this. This is actually pretty fun. Um, we're we just going over like just some of the rhetorical shit that Professor Wolf does and says. He's actually really fun to watch. and we're gonna going on to the next part. And since he's taking his break, I'm gonna actually take the break to say, please like and subscribe if you want to see more of my artwork. If you want to hear more of my commentary, like and subscribe and share this video. But let's have this go on.
Program. Please subscribe to our YouTube.
We're gonna let him play that out, and it looks as if he's gonna have a special guest. So in the next half hour of it, let's talk about with the unity of the left. All right. So let's go.
Welcome back, friends, to the second half of Economic Update for today. I'm especially pleased to have with me two guests in a wonderful position to talk about something I've been interested in talking about for quite a while, but we didn't quite have the conditions for it.
Great, come on.
Namely, a resurgence of the left in American social life, cultural life, political life. Not only new things developing and growing, but collaboration with different parts of the left getting together. That's has been as rare as a growth period, so it's really good to have this opportunity. And
Okay, that was a nice little shot. Like collaboration with unity in the left is as rare as a growth period. That was a nice little shot, Professor. That was. But let's continue.
share it with all of you. So our first two guests to be introduced. First, Karen Ranucci. She is a media activist, journalist, and educator. She is a member of the coordinating committee of something called the Center for Critical Thought in New York City. That's what she's going to be talking to us about. And in particular, their project of creating what they call a school for socialism. And you can connect with them to pursue this by going to info@centerforcriticalthought.org.
And that's actually amazing because we actually need more critical thought in this fucking country where people just they're not beholden to just the training that we get in school to just learn how to shut up and ask questions and you know raise your hands to ask questions. No, we need more of a critical thought in this fucking country where people are just encouraged to think more, not just think more from themselves, but have a critical mindset with a lot of the ways that they think. And we don't have that, but let's continue.
And my second guest, who's been on the program before, is Rob Robinson. He was a co-founder and member of the leadership committee of Take Back the Land movement, and he's currently a staff member at the National Economic and Social Rights Initiative, known as NESRI. After losing his job in 2001, he spent 2 years homeless on the streets of Miami, Florida, and 10 months in a New York City shelter. He eventually overcame homelessness and has been a part of the housing movement in New York City since 2007. He has worked with the United Nations, the U.S. Human Rights Network, and with homeless movements and populations in at least the following countries:
Wow.
Hungary, Germany, South Africa, Spain, and Brazil. Welcome, Karen. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you.
Wow, that's actually really impressive that somebody does actually go through the pain of homelessness and actually is able to, you know, not only share, not only pull themselves up by the bootstraps, but actually share and fight to make sure others don't go through the same thing or recover from the same thing. It's the whole mantra of not just fighting for myself, but fighting for those who actually need the help. But let's continue.
Okay, let's start by having each of you tell us a little bit about the particular project you're working on, and then we'll go into how they connect to each other and what they mean for America. How about we start with you, Karen?
Well, for a long time, people have been feeling that we have wonderful teachers, educators, activists who have so many experiences to share as we want to make a better world. And how, so we felt that we needed to pull forces together and create a learning institution. And so we've made the Center for Critical Thought, and we're working with academics and activists around the country, around New York City. Right now, the goal is to make it happen
Right.
everywhere, because people need education. We have so many experiences of the past, and how do we build this world that we want to build? And many young people want to learn, so that's what we're doing.
Okay. Rob, can you give it?
So that is actually something where I can actually really agree on. You actually see it where a lot of people do want to have, it's people want to learn. And I go back and forth with the argument of some people just don't want to learn, some people are stupid. And that's like the bad kind of argument to actually have, because no, it's that I feel myself that a lot of people, it's not that they don't want to learn, but they're just so focused on making sure they're surviving. And it doesn't, so when you're only focused about survival, it's hard to kind of take the time to do self improvement and actually work on yourself. It's just one of those things where it's hard. Now, are some people then, once you have the responsibility, once you have the tools to do something, do you have the responsibility to be better? Of course. But how many people do have that time to just spend time on developing themselves? Very few to none, I would say. But let's continue.
Give us a thumbnail equivalent for the Left Forum.
Certainly. So the Left Forum is a well-known conference that has been around for a number of years. We bring together as many as 5,000 people from around the world, folks who identify as leftists, right, and who want to see a different world. And we always felt education was a big part of this, right? We were known as just a conference, but what do we do the rest of the year? So it was interesting when we were approached by the Center for Critical Thought to join forces with them to sort of build something that we haven't seen in this country before. We normally see the left fractured, not as united as they should be, and we
Exactly.
thought this is a wonderful opportunity to bring the left together.
Okay, let me go back and really ask both of you to respond as you see fit. I noticed that the Left Forum for the year 2020 has adopted as its topic, its focal topic.
So one of the things that a lot of people have criticism of the left is that a lot of it is fractured, and it's they don't have the same fall in line mentality that you will see with the right wing. And that's kind of, I understand why people have that perception, because most of the right wing issues are they no fall in line, do as we say. We like that's the thing about the right wing. That's their strength. They're more authoritarian. And the left isn't. It's more egalitarian. And yes, we have people that are quote unquote on the left that practice authoritarian ways of thinking, but I would say that they're not really leftists. They're more, that's their path to get what their policies, but they are fucking totalitarians, like in authoritarian, I should say, in nature. But it's just one of those things where it's really hard for leftism isn't this whole do as I say. Now, they may shame the shit out of you. Leftists will shame the shit out of you. And is that necessarily a bad thing? If you're standing up for what you believe is right and somebody is shaming you, I would say that's kind of a problem with your ideology. But let's continue.
Topic, socialism. And you haven't done that in previous years. What's that about? Why is, in a sense, socialism on the agenda for the Left Forum, and socialism is the school for socialism? Tell us a little bit about how your work is related to that.
Well, I think for us at Left Forum, we knew a capitalist society doesn't work for many people in the society. We need something different. And I think Bernie Sanders alerted us to the fact that this world needs a change. And you can identify as a socialist and redistribute wealth in this country in a meaningful way. So people are thinking different. It's a time now, and this is something that is coming up from the ground. People are fascinated by this idea of social change. So we thought very simply, let's make this conference about socialism. Let's appeal to the masses. And this is a wonderful opportunity as we join forces and again set the example for the left to come together. Why not give them a real issue to come together around?
And so this is one of the things where people say, "Oh, socialism will never win," and you'd be crazy to call yourself a socialist. Where in reality, people want socialist policies, and yes, there are some people are scared of the word socialist because they've associated with the old Soviet Union and totalitarianism. And the thing about it, a lot of the Soviet Union, they weren't actually socialists. They weren't even communists. They were government fucking capitalists. The means of production was owned by the fucking state. And a lot of people, it's wired into their nature to think that, oh no, the Soviet Union was just bad because reasons. And no, they were bad because they screwed people over. Like, they literally actually hurt people. So yeah, like, socialism isn't a bad word, guys. But let's continue.
Karen?
Yeah, well, I think if you speak to young people and you say, are you a leftist? That it means so little to them, because what does it mean? Like, I'm not a right winger, so then I'm a leftist. And it's meaningless. But what has happened is more and more young people, like when I was younger, I could get a job as a waitress. It cost me $3 to fill my Volkswagen for the week, and jobs were around and school was affordable. And now people of this generation, they're left out. They're living at home, they're all the problems that, so they understand that capitalism is not working for them, and that we need a society where it's built on cooperation. And so if young people, when polled, the majority say they're not afraid of socialism. This sounds pretty good to them. So, we feel that not to be vague about what we're trying to accomplish. And so, our goal is to build a socialist world. And that means built on cooperation. And so, we want to cooperate with the Left Forum. The Left Forum has left in its name.
So yeah, there's just a point about it being more cooperative with young people that want to spend socialism again. Yes, there is a generation of people that actually remember the old Red Scare and shit like that, and it's just like, I get it, guys. I totally understand that you were brought up in an era where socialism bad because the big bad boogeyman of the Soviet Union was what most people associate socialism with is, but that's not the case. That's definitely not the case with everything. And a lot of people need to actually just get over the word and understand what the principles are. But let's continue.
It's legacy, and it's also very broad. It incorporates anybody who's progressive, and but the work that we want to do is, not just critique capitalism, because people know the problems, but what are we going to build, and what does that look like? Worker co-ops and ownership by workers of corporations, or being part of the production system and benefiting from that. And as new technologies are introduced, rather than people being thrown off to die, that our workloads become easier. We get more time off, and we still get a living wage.
So this is one of the things, and please, guys who were Yang Gang supporters, like, help me out with this. Yang especially was for the whole, well, automation is a thing, and we shouldn't be scared of the future, and that's why we want to have a UBI. But yet and still, when it came time to say, well, let's promote somebody who has something close to my ideology, he's thinking about endorsing Biden, who couldn't give one rat's ass about UBI, who couldn't give one care about making sure that automation is happening. Biden, like, come on, Yang Gang, what's up with that, dogs? But let's continue.
That's the world that we can build. But it takes learning from the past and organizing now. And so education is a big part of it. And we look forward to working together, where the work that we do all year long builds towards a giant conference to discuss these issues. And then it doesn't end there.
That's
We
right.
keep going all the next year.
That's right.
I want to follow up on one thing. What made you and the people you're working with on this Center for Critical Thought, what made you think this was the right time to build a new school for doing this? Is there something that gave you the idea this is
Well, I would say Sanders, but not only that, there has been a move more towards socialism. But let's continue.
the historical moment?
Yeah, definitely. Bernie has done that for thousands and thousands of people, millions of people in this country.
Huge.
And also, I see how the Democratic Socialist Party, all these young people are joining en masse. So they want a change. People voted for Trump because they wanted a change.
That's right.
He knows the language to make.
So, like, this is a point that I try to drive home with a lot of just my personal conversations that I see with people who are liberal, and they say, oh, we have to beat Trump. Not everybody who voted for Trump was this foaming at the mouth, seething racist. There are people that voted for Trump because Hillary was just a bad fucking candidate. She was a bad candidate, and she didn't care. And she came and told you everything is all right when you knew that was bullshit, because everything wasn't all right. And that's the reason why you see the things with, like, Brexit. As Mark Blythe puts it, it is a repudiation of the fact that everything is not all right, and people are willing to throw a brick through the system. And Sanders is in a perfect condition. I know after Super Tuesday, people were a little bit disappointed, but I think Michigan is going to be a different story. And if I'm wrong tomorrow, then I'm wrong, and this will be dated. But people are in a position where they're just tired of the status quo. But let's continue.
Make them think they were getting a change. And so it is the time. People really want change. The New York Times came out to endorse Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar. Imagine that, having women, like, everybody wants a real change in this country. So this is the time.
And talk a little bit about this collaboration, because I really want to underscore, at least as one observer, seeing the different parts of the left in this country, or those interested in socialism, getting together institutionally to collaborate and to coordinate their activities. The left is much stronger in this country than most people understand,
That's right.
but it's so divided. If you could become what you're doing, a model, an example for the different parts to get together, boy, this country's politics would change and change quickly.
Well, I think that's the important.
So what I think Professor Wolf is actually getting to on this one is that you get a lot of people think that nobody likes leftist politics, and it could be further from the truth. A lot of the politics that people subscribe to, when you don't put a specific spin to it, and you say should colleges be state colleges should be free, and a lot of people would go for that. But the problem is when you put a narrative spin to it, yeah, a lot of people have fears and are disheartened by that. So you get the whole you want to give stuff for free, where it's like we pay for the shit through our taxes, or we can raise taxes for other people. But these are some of the things that you see. These are some of the responses that you actually see that a lot of the country is by way just really leftist. And really that's because of we've been screwed by the establishment so much. But let's continue.
Piece, Rick, as Karen continues to underline, education is at the root of that, right? But not just education to a certain sector. The young people are involved, older folks coming together, right? The elders and the young folks coming together and creating a new world. So there's a understanding of the history, the historical context, but what does a new world look like? The imagination of youthful enthusiasm coming into this and thinking about change in a different way. But education is always at the core of that. You know, as you mentioned in the introduction, I get to work around the world, and I've seen political education in other places outside of the U.S. It looks much different than it looks here. And I think this is getting closer. This idea is getting closer to what we see in places like Brazil, where the landless workers movement has their own school, where people are coming together and said, this is what we want to know more about. It's not just something that's held down by a certain subset of society, the academics holding down the theory, right? It's theory, lived experience, practical experience, all meeting in one place to understand what a different world looks and feels like.
So imagine that. Imagine you had. I've seen a lot of posts about people talking about trade school. Imagine that. Imagine you had a literal trade school, and not only did they have teach you to trade, but they also told you the importance of unionization. Imagine that shit. Imagine how powerful that would actually be. Imagine that. But let's continue.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting to me. I was recently reading a book about the German Social Democratic Party and how in the 20s and 30s and 40s of the last century, they had an enormous nationwide school system. They had schools in every village and town, and it was very clear they were not the school to get you a better job. They were the school to make a better world, and that made sense to people. They went to the one school to get the credential for the job, but they went to another school to learn how to think critically and how to move forward. And it was understood by people as part of what it meant to be a member of a democratic society. It would be extraordinary if your thing could become a model elsewhere in the country for others.
All right, yeah, and let's that like imagine going to school, and I've seen people say also financial education, but imagine going to school and you being taught the benefit of joining a union, the benefit of public service, not just like say like a program like Job Corps or the Peace Corps, but actually a program where you can actually learn how to be just a better citizen. And not just for your enrichment, but for the enrichment of the country.
Yeah, and the cooperation that's happening between us. I mean, that's the world we want to build. Is one of we all benefit when we unite, and under capitalism, it factionalizes people because there are those who are fighting for $15 wage, and they're for better health care, for free education, and and everyone just takes all their time to fight in their niche. And if we had a socialist reorganization in this country, all of those issues, we would end the war, start investing that money into renewable energy and technologies that make our lives better. I mean, imagine. That's what I love is, John Lennon said it years ago, imagine.
So that's one of the funniest thing about it. We've had a history of people saying like, "Hey, we can be better." Like the Imagine song, like seriously, it it's it's talking about how if we would actually be better to each other, and people like, I guess they shit on the whole idea that, and it's not even shitting on. They have a fear that nobody would be as kind as what they are if they give up shit. So they're just not gonna give up things to because everybody has something out against them and be for themselves. And why am I gonna put down my fucking gun as a euphemism where somebody else has theirs? And it's just like people don't get that's the fostering of mistrust, and that's because capitalism. Like seriously, that shit is because capitalism. But let's continue.
And that's what we need to do is not only imagine, but then start working towards how do we build that. And it's only through unity. And that's what we're seeing. I think Bernie has made unity among people towards true social change.
It's really interesting if you could get the constituents of each of the movements to understand that an alliance would make them stronger because all the other movements are helping them in exchange for them helping all the other. I mean, you can see the logic. And there are even some people who think that the right wing in America has been a bit better at that in recent years,
That's right.
Exactly.
doing that than the left, and it's time to catch up and surpass.
You can go back to the Tea Party, right? They were organized and they pulled themselves
Exactly.
together in that way. We need to replicate those practices, right? As Karen said, people work in silos, right? And that's not going to get us anywhere. That keeps us fractured. We think we're making change. We get incremental little change, but that's not making the change that we want to see. So this is an opportunity to bring the masses together into one space and see cooperation, what it looks like, what it feels like, touch it, and put it to
Exactly.
practice. And I think that's going to make a better world for all of us.
And I think that's going to be the last word for that. And I know it's going to be the last word for him. But I wanted, like, that is actually fucking awesome. And that's fucking amazing that, you see groups actually working together. Other than just saying, well, let's keep everything the same. And no, we don't need change. And it's just like, come on now. I can't stress this enough. The establishment doesn't want you to rock the boat because it's their fucking boat. But let's continue. We're gonna in this part of this video right here, let's see if we can go to another one. Show more response videos. Yay. Close this window. Let's do Coach Red Pill. Oh God, I'm gonna regret this one, aren't I? Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. By the way, remember guys, if you like this video, like and share this stream. I'm gonna actually keep this stream up for about a week. Then of course I put it unlisted, and you would actually see the clips come out. I want to thank everybody who's watched so far. I want to thank everybody who's enjoying the show so far. I do want to say this, please, if you want to help my stream out, you can go to this and this right here. I'm gonna put it in both chats. Put that there, so you guys can actually see this. Did it paste? And there we go. I'm gonna put it in that chat, and I'm gonna put it in the main chat. If you are watching and you want to actually help with the stream, besides actually sharing the video and liking us, subscribing, and following, you can always go to that. So let's talk about Coach Red Pill. Coach Red Pill, or Gonzala Laura, talks about sexually aggressive women. Yay? I don't know. Like, really? I don't. Let's go, Gonzala.
Now, in this period of sexual market deregulation, in this period where it's basically a sexual free-for-all, you can do whatever the fuck you want insofar as sex is concerned, you have a very, very serious problem of sexually aggressive women who are, for all intents and purposes, sexually harassing men who don't want to sleep with them.
Wait, what? Fuck, what? No! No! Hell no! Like, really? No. That's not how this shit works, dog. That's not how this works. There's no women who are sexually harassing men that don't want to sleep with them. That's some bullshit, and I'm sure you're about to pull something out of your ass to explain why you're oh so right. And I think I've made this hair color a little bit too dark. No matter. Let's continue.
You see, I actually experienced this back in 1991, as a matter of fact. Yeah, because
he has to go back to 1991. What the fuck? And I can say fuck because I'm not monetized. But what the fuck? 1991? Come on, dog. But let's continue.
I dated some girl in college, briefly, very briefly, and she basically wanted to sleep with me, and I didn't want to sleep with her because I thought that she was a little bit nuts, a little bit weird, right? And because of this, I sweet-talked my way out of it and didn't sleep with her and sort of like dropped her and ignored her and then chased other girls, right? And she found out that I was interested in other girls, and she got mad. She got really mad, and she lied about me. She lied about me and saying that I had accosted her, that I had assaulted her, that I had harassed her via email. She said that I'd, the accusation that I had forcibly tried to kiss her. And because of this allegation, this has
just turned my stomach because he just set up a scenario where he's actually promoting that women lie when they don't get what they want. This shit is disgusting. And knowing that he has the audience that he has, young men that already feed into the bullshit that, well, women are all liars, this shit is disgusting. I don't know how I'm going to stomach this, but let's go.
Founded allegation.
What's up, Panda? What's up, man?
This unfounded allegation that had all kinds of holes in the story. I was suspended for a full academic year, my very first semester at Dartmouth. Well, term, but same thing.
I literally just got disgusted by this man. Like, you're really gonna actually go down this that women lie and oh God. Let's continue.
See, it happened to me, so I know whereof I speak. Okay? Sexually aggressive women are incredibly dangerous and you want to keep an eye out for them. See, what happens with sexually aggressive women is that they think that they are entitled to sleeping with whomever they want. They think that it is their God-given right to sleep with you, even if you don't want them. Because you see, in the normal course of events, what's going on? A man is chasing women, right? And the women are basically reluctant to give sex unless they have certain conditions met. Now, historically, insofar as our species is concerned, this is, of course, requirements that the man would provide for the offspring that the woman had with him, right? Because
no, people have been fucking since we've been motherfucking sapiens. Not even sapiens. Yeah. Not even sapiens. Simians. People have been fucking since we've been simians. Even before that, we've been fucking. But for the fact that you're going to devalue human sexuality as only a business transaction shows how fucking shallow you are, dog. Let's continue.
That's the nature of sex. You have sex and you're going to have a baby. Yeah, you do it enough times and eventually you're going to have a kid.
That's not the way sex works. The first time you have sex, you can have a baby. The 100th time that you have sex, you can, not have a baby. That's not how sex works. It's not some fucking bank that you store up to say, oh, we've had the sex 82 times, so pretty soon the baby's going to come out, but let's continue.
That's the thing about sex, but with the pill, with contraceptives, with abortion, now that's not the case, now is it? And so because of it, a lot of women feel that they are entitled to having sex with whomever they want. And they can cause a lot of damage to you if they set your eyes on you and you don't reciprocate.
I think I just had a stroke from the stupidity. That's not how that works, dog. Women don't have some magic power to say, I control all the sex, so fuck you. That's not how that works. And the fact that you are sitting back and saying that, well, now they have control because it's not about fucking to make a baby. You forget how that frees guys up too. You don't have to worry about promising a woman that you're going to take care of her because you're having sex with her. And it's one thing specifically that he did not fucking mention. He didn't mention fucking condoms. Like it was birth control is only responsibility of the woman. A fucking condom is something a man can actually do. Like literally, this is something that a man can actually take care of if you're worried that the woman that's going to take your seed. Fucking put on a condom. Yes, he is painted with a broad brush. When I'm using brush tip markers. No. But yeah, let's continue.
How many times have you heard this story? Some guy didn't want to sleep with some girl. And the girl started saying, what's the matter with you? Are you gay? What's wrong with you? Or maybe you have a tiny pecker and you're afraid and you don't want to show your pecker to me, like that.
For the record, women will sleep with men with a small penis. They don't give a fuck. Because it's about the connection that they make with the guy. Secondly, these stories are very oddly specific by Coach Red Pill. Very oddly specific because it seems to me that he is just an asshole that uses these channels to actually say that it's digs at itself. It's like digs at what he feel he's been slighted over life, where women don't just lie to you to have sex, and when you turn them down, they don't treat you like shit. And if you are going after women who treat you like shit because you're turning them down, you're going after the wrong one. But let's continue.
Really disturbing really disgusting shit. And of course, it's obvious to everybody that the guy is simply not attracted to the girl. Okay, it's not that he's gay. It's not that he has a small pecker. It's that he doesn't want to sleep with her for whatever reason. Well, the fact that she's aggressively trying to shame him into sleeping with her is probably part of the reason that the guy didn't want to sleep with her now, isn't it? Huh?
Yet and still, it's okay for a man to shame. Like, literally, I mean, like, this is not even be white knight. It's just like, it just doesn't make fucking sense. It doesn't make sense because women are bad. Women are the bad guys, and women are trying to lie to men. Like, it's almost as if you're not going to make a point that women are just some trash thing that you shouldn't try to get. And it's just like, dude, no. If you want to go and say people are shit, people are trash, I'm with you. But just to say, well, they're going to bully you. So is it wrong for when a man bullies a woman to have sex? Like, let's continue.
You tell me. Right, because a lot of these women are just simply awful people. Let's cut to the chase. Okay, they are awful people. You know, people in the left especially talk about being privileged and entitled and all the rest of it. But these sexually aggressive women who are so entitled, who will say the worst and most awful things to you just because you just don't want to have sex with her, right? They're awful.
Does the same apply for men that bully women? No, they can't. He is literally saying that they can't because for some reason it's like, oh my God, like he is literally saying women are awful and they're playing around with your emotions, and oh my God, like is it? Okay, Crimson has been a beneficiary of some ladies' attention and some ladies' not attention. But I don't think that they're awful people because they turn me down. And it's been times where I've just been like pulled away. But no. Let's continue.
They are privileged and entitled little bitches. But you have to take care of yourself because they can spread a lot of damage. And the way they spread damage is by gossip. Yeah, they tell other people about you. And they say that, oh, you're probably gay or you have a tiny dick or whatever. They'll make up, or like what happened to me, they will outright make up accusations that can hurt you very seriously.
So we're just gonna examine this shit, and we're gonna actually realize that Coach Red Pill is not a good guy, and this does actually seem as if that he's just fucking angry. He is angry as shit that some woman had the audacity to make up a story about him. The audacity. Just to say that because he didn't want to sleep with her, he must have done something. The audacity. And yes, I know I'm saying it wrong, but if you know about G-Man, you understand why I'm saying it like this. That they're just lying about him, and all women lie because women are sexually liberated, and so they're sexually aggressive, and they just want to hurt men and lie on men, and you know, if you don't pamper them or do it exactly what they say, they're gonna hurt you. Like, that's not how that works, dog. But let's continue. Yeah, he is salty.
I mean, I was lucky because I was only suspended because there were so many holes in this girl's story that people were sort of like, oh God, you know, this sounds like bullshit, but we don't want to look bad. And that's why I was only suspended.
If this was in 1991, this isn't like part of the Me Too movement time frame. And I don't know how to say this without sounding too dickish because I don't have the evidence as it stands, but if they found enough evidence to suspend you, chances are you was doing some shit that you probably was harmful as shit to somebody, and they couldn't press charges because, well, the bitch deserved it, and of course she just didn't want to listen to what I'm telling her. And the suspension may have been a light way of actually resolving the issue, but I don't know. Yeah. He said 1991
Instead of outright expelled. See, a vindictive woman can cause a lot of damage in a man's life, okay? And a lot of these women, these sexually aggressive women, they're incredibly vindictive, and they will have no trouble whatsoever doing whatever it takes to hurt you. I mean, there's some story I remember about some guy, some high school kid out in...
So there are vindictive people. Trust me, I know that there are vindictive people. I'm kind of dealing with one right now, but it's not because they're sexually aggressive, dog. It's just that they're vindictive people. God damn. Like, come on, guy. Like, really? Really? Because, you know, you're such a piece of meat that you didn't give it to her. She was vindictive. And something tells me that we're missing out something in that story. But let's continue.
California, who had this incredibly promising career in college football and potentially the NBA or whatever, because it's happened so many times. But anyway.
Did he just say college football and potential career in the NBA? Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. He's an idiot. He's stupid. I never knew he was stupid, but I didn't know he was that stupid. But let's continue.
Anyway, the point is, see, the guy was accused of rape or some shit like that. And it was just some girl who wanted to fuck him, and he didn't want her, okay? And so she made up lies and ruined his life. And to tell you the truth, now that I think about it, I'm realizing...
Wait, what? Like, citation needed. Like, for real, like, I'm not... Okay, I am that guy. But it's just like, dude... Please, citation fucking needed. Like, it just seems like he's just making up some bullshit that he couldn't get the fucking league that the dude played for correct. But, these incels need to feel good about themselves. And so, yeah, bitches lie. Bitches lie all the time. And they just want to be mad at men who turned them down. And I want to have... I want to feel like I'm important, so I'm gonna pretend like a bitch turned me down. Ooh, gets my pee hard, and she's gonna lie to make me just seem like a bad person. But let's continue.
It's two separate stories. One for a kid that happened in high school, and another for a kid who happened to in college. And see, the outcome was the same. His life was ruined. It happens all the time.
See, that's why I knew he was pulling it out of his ass, because he realized, oh, it's two separate stories. Like, I was told by Vegeta that he made this channel to kind of speak to his kids, like give advice to his kids, and it's just like, it's almost as if he's doing his children a disservice if he thinks that this would actually is a way of, especially his son, where he actually think that he should believe this shit. Like, for real, like, I don't fucking get it. Like, why would you even have your child believe in this bullshit? But, you know, bitches, right? Let's continue.
And of course, people are going to believe her. You know, we live in the Me Too times now, don't we? So what you have to do is get ahead of the situation. Oh yeah, when you realize that some woman has her eye on you and she's offering you sex and you do not want to have sex with her, okay? There are basically two options. One is to have sex, you know, just close your eyes and do the deed. That's one possibility.
Is he promoting a homosexual lifestyle? Like, for real? Like that just sounds like a whole take one for the team. That's what that shit sounds like. You should just do it, because if you don't, she's gonna actually complain that you turned her down, and she's gonna make your life a living hell. Like that's not how that shit works, dog. And to be honest with you, you wouldn't give a woman that advice. And if you would give a woman that advice, that just shows how fucking horrible you are as a fucking human being. That you should literally have sex with somebody that you're not fucking attracted to just to make them feel fine and them not dealing with their fucking entitlement issues. And if that's something that you're promoting, fuck you. But let's continue.
But the other possibility is to tell her no. Now, if you tell her no, then you'd better be prepared to go to war. And the best way to defend yourself when you go to war is, well, to have a really strong offense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because what you have to do is that when you turn her down, you have to realize that she's going to try to hurt you any way she can. Even if she might be a nice person, even so, you just have to assume the worst. And so what you have to do is go out to everybody that you know, and you have to say that you turned her down and that you don't want to have sex with her, but she acted as if she were entitled to sex with you, and you're very worried. And if
this, like, is he trolling? Like, is he really trolling? Like, really, is he trolling? Is he fucking trolling? You gotta be kidding me. He has to be fucking trolling. Because this is some shit, like, I don't know. He broke me. He fucking broke me. Let's continue.
If you're in college, what you have to do is you have to go to the administration straight away. I mean, the second you turn her down, you got to go straight to the administration, straight to the someplace, I don't know, like the infirmary or sexual assault center or wherever the.
It's like he's making fun of rape. I mean, like, am I the only one that sees this? That he's fucking making fun of rape? He's belittling the fact that people are fucking sexually assaulted? What if it was a guy that wanted to fuck you, but you turned him down? Like, literally. I don't get it. This shit is just, like, fucking unbelievable that he is actually advocating for this. Because, but the ladies, they were mean to him in 1992, and because reasons he says you should fuck them, even if you don't like it or they'll ruin your life. Let's continue.
And you have to report her. Yeah, I mean, though it may sound, you got to report her. Yeah, because if you don't do it preemptively, in a day or two, this woman is going to stew on her anger, and she's going to report you. Because it happened to me. I know whereof I speak. See.
No. And then it's a fact that this dude is literally slut shaming somebody. Well, she's aggressive. She's sexually aggressive, so she must be a whore. So tell all your friends and family that she's a whore. What kind of bullshit is that, man? What literal bullshit is that? What's up, Vegeta? I'm doing your favorite topic, man. Coach fucking Red Pill. But this man is literally saying, well, if the bitch don't, if she's sexually aggressive, then you have to tell people. And, like, the fuck? Like, literally, what the fuck? Or she's gonna ruin your life. The fuck out of here. Let's continue.
In the Bible, they talk about Jezebel. They talk about vindictive women. You know, in the Bible and Clytemnestra and the whole issue with Agamemnon. Clytemnestra killed her own daughter over her vindictiveness towards Agamemnon, right? I mean, come on. You gotta, realize what's going on. Women, when they are angry at you, when they want to fuck you up, they can do so. They have done so for millennia, okay? They have used.
So, you're using examples of fucked up ass situations where maybe the storyteller has some sort of fucking, I don't know, prerogative to tell their side of the story and make themselves look like a better hero versus, the person that shit actually happened bad to. But of course, nobody ever tells a story where it's unslanted towards them, right? Right? But let's continue.
Use the social rules to their advantage, to your detriment, and they have f***ed over better men than you and I will ever be. Yeah. So you have to get ahead of the situation. It's as simple as that. Socially, you have to tell your common acquaintances what's going on. You have to tell them that you just turned this woman down and that you just didn't want to sleep with her, and that's that, and she got really pissed off about it, and you just basically say that, you're not interested in her. That's what you have to say socially. Insofar as the college is concerned, you got to go and denounce her instantly. And don't fucking hesitate. Don't put it off. Don't think that, it'll work itself out,
There have been plenty of women that I fucking turned down. Okay. There have been a handful. There have been a few. Okay. There have been a couple to a few women that I've turned down. And they haven't went and tried to fucking, ruin my good reputation if I had one. No, that's not how this shit works. Women don't inherently mean bad. This is some Jordan Peterson level type bullshit. Oh, because reasons. Women are bad. Women shouldn't wear makeup in at work because it sexualizes them. The fuck out of here, dog.
Just like let sleeping dogs lie. No. A sexually aggressive girl, you turn her down, she is going to go vindictive on your ass. She's going to rape you, figuratively, metaphorically.
That's not how this works. And if you're not a shitty person, people tend to believe people that they know aren't shitty people. Let's continue.
But it's going to hurt a hell of a lot more than if she'd actually raped you. You know what I'm saying? Now, if this is in a work setting, holy shit, you're in trouble. Okay? If it's in a work setting, a sexually aggressive woman, right, is going to create all kinds of trouble with you, with your human resource department. And if she is a superior to you, she will cause even worse damage. Yeah, because what she'll do is, she'll keep opportunities from you or assign you into dead-end jobs or just, grunt work that is.
I'm not trying to be theatrical, guys. But does he realize the level of fucking irony? Like, he is literally describing sexual harassment, but saying only women do it. What the? Whew. Yes, Vegeta. And this is what pisses me off. I know more than what I'm supposed to of women who have been hurt aggressively by men. I know more than my fair share, than anybody's fair share, because it's so prevalent. But shit like this makes it hard for those women to come forward. Because bullshit like this. But let's continue.
Is not fulfilling or that might actually hurt your career. And she can do all sorts of things, right? I mean, a person at a superior level in a job, you curry favor with one, you can get like the cherry on the sundae, right? And you are on somebody's list, and they can wreck your job and your career into the future. So of course, in a work situation, you got to identify these sexually aggressive women and you steer clear of them. It's as simple as that. I mean, you're a fucking grown-up. You can steer clear of somebody if you really want to, right? You know how to do that. You know how to make sure that your contact with somebody who is potentially dangerous to your job or your career is minimized. You know how to do that. And people talk. That's the great advantage of being social animals. People talk. And you're going to quickly find out who is in your workplace a sexually aggressive woman, and you stay the fuck away from her. The Pence rule?
Oh God, he's literally gonna go to the Pence rule. No, not the fucking Pence rule. And to be honest with you, the Pence rule has some questionable issues, and we're not gonna go into that one. But let's hear this shit.
The Vice President Pence has this rule that everybody mocked him for it. He says that he never has a meeting with a woman unless there's a third person present. It's a fucking smart rule, yeah? Because, why? It's insurance. Yeah. Because that way nobody can ever accuse him of doing anything. Have you heard of all the women who are accusing Vice President Pence?
Well, we're not going to talk about the women that are accusing him, but there was that conspicuous picture that he did try to get scrubbed off the line, where he was looking like a nice little male snack for consumption, not by females. We're going to just say that one. But let's continue.
Of sexually assaulting them? How many women so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10? 0, you tell me? Not one? Not a one? Huh? That's fucking weird. And what about Joe Biden, huh? See, old-fashioned rules like the Pence rule, yeah, they're old-fashioned, but they're fucking effective. Yeah. In a work situation, you want to apply the Pence rule. Okay?
That's ironically true, because Joe is fucking creepy. And I say this not because I think that he's a horrible human being, which still has his value, but in no way should be the leading contender for the presidential nomination, because he's creepy Uncle Joe, but he does have issues where he's creepy. But that's a different conversation. Let's continue.
At first, because you're not going to...
Yeah, and you know what, Vegeta, I'm looking at your comment, and I do see that, and you know what, it's a shame that we do have that issue where sexual assault of men is actually looked down on, and the first accusation is, well, you're a man, you should have been able to fight it off, and it is sad. It's very sad that a lot of... It's just people are not listened to, especially when they're hurt in such a private and shameful way. The way we put it on society is a shameful way. And yeah, no, there are, especially men in jail, rape is rampant. But people are shamed into saying, well, it's a bad, did you ask for it? Or shit like that, or you were wearing the wrong thing, or you looked a certain way, or yeah, shit like that. But let's continue. Exactly.
Going to know who is a sexually aggressive woman, and then later on, once you have identified those sexually aggressive women, you want to have a third person present so that nothing happens to you. Yeah, and whenever the possibility of this sexually aggressive woman coming up to you on the sly, like maybe at some after work drinks or some shit like that, you get the fuck away from her. You get away from her as quickly as you can, because remember, even if you have a good time with her and you fuck her and have a great time, eventually, it's going to blow up in your face, because
So wait a minute. Did you just not say you should sleep with her, but then you say then you shouldn't sleep with her? Like, make up your mind, man. Like, make up your motherfucking mind, because it just seems like you can't get over yourself to say that maybe you should choose a little bit more wisely who you spend your fucking time with. But, like, I don't know what his fucking issue is. Like, seriously. I don't know. Maybe you guys understand that.
Eventually, these relationships, they always end badly. And they'll end badly for you. See, because in the way things...
Wait, not all relationships end badly. Some do just end, but it doesn't mean... Oh my God, I'm trying to reason with a fucking idiot. Let's continue.
Are today, men, straight guys like you're the ones who suffer. We're the ones who suffer. Yeah? See, if you were gay, nothing would happen to you, right? If you were,
Oh my God, this is fucking unbelievable. Gay men are raped too, dog. Sex isn't... I'm tired of this whole idea that men just gonna accept sex just for whatever reasons. Because reasons. Men just accept sex. The fuck? Like, maybe because I have standards, and I'm gonna actually stop drawing right now, but maybe because I have standards, I sex isn't just, oh, let me stick my pee in you, and or like, no. Let's continue.
a lesbian woman, nothing would happen to you. You know, you're a straight guy. You are the prey nowadays. Now, bitching and moaning about it and talking about the injustice of it all, yeah, you can moan all you want, but that's the reality that we're living in today. And you're a guy, you're relatively sophisticated, you understand what's going on around you, socially, politically. There is a whole movement that is looking to find victims, and more to the point, looking to find perpetrators like you. Looking to find you and to f you up, even if you are innocent, because their jobs depend on it. See,
if there's a movement for you guys, for someone to actually say to you that all shit is wrong, so you can actually try to listen to them and buy their shit and improve your life based on what they're saying, but keep you in a shitty position, because I can do that shit too. Exactly. Anybody can be fucking prey. No, there is not a fucking roving tribe of Amazonian women who sit back and say, "Oh, let's have the council of how we can screw over men's lives." That shit doesn't happen. Now, there are a roving tribe of people that said, "Well, let's see how much money we can make from people," but we call those fucking capitalists and business owners, job creators. The fuck out of here, dude.
that's the thing I didn't understand when I was in college. When I was accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment, it was bullshit. There was proof positive that I hadn't harassed her at all. And there were a whole bunch of people who could say that I had been at different times at different places with them and had not had the opportunity to assault her when she claimed that I'd assaulted her. There was all this proof, and it didn't matter.
Like, we literally have the Kavanaugh hearings. And when was this done? We literally have the Kavanaugh hearings where we have proof in the Times where one person came back and said, well, he wasn't there, and then they came back and said, yeah, he was there. Just because you can bring up a fucking witness to say, no, he wasn't there, doesn't mean that they're always fucking telling the truth. Just like when somebody says they've been harmed, doesn't mean that they always fucking telling the truth. They obviously found something, dog, to suspend you. That fucking happened. But let's continue.
And I didn't understand at the time why it didn't matter. Now I do. At the time, there were all these counselors and sexual assault awareness programs and all this bureaucracy. And this bureaucracy exists to punish you and me.
Oh my God, yes, they exist to punish people who harm people. You fucking idiot. Let's continue.
That's what it's there for. See? In HR departments, in college administrations, in high school administrations, all of these sexual assault and survivor networks and all this bureaucratic bullshit, it exists to not just help these sexually aggressive women get her way, but also to hurt you and me. That's their job. Their job is to fuck us over and ruin our lives. So be.
So, and Wajida, I'm gonna actually address your point. Are there people that do make up false allegations? Yes. However, it's not as fucking prevalent as a lot of people won't actually make it out to be. I've hit no less over the last month 4 separate occasions with women who says, I didn't want to, but I fucking let him, simply because I felt pressured. Not somebody turned me on and I enjoyed it. No, I felt pressure. I felt that I would be harmed, or I felt that, I felt I had no other choice. That shit happens. Because we push, as men, place such a fucking high value on proving our manhood by seeing how much of a conquest we can actually get. A lot of women feel like they don't have any choice. But, bitches be lying, right? So, let's continue. Let's see the last piece of horrible shit that he's going to actually say.
Smart. Be smart. Don't put yourself in a vulnerable position. You see, back in the day, in the 40s and the 50s and even the 60s, see, a woman, she was told not to go to the bad neighborhoods because she might be raped. She was told not to go to the fraternities because, something might happen to her at some fraternity with a bunch of drunk guys and what have you, right? But the thing is turned around, see? Now a woman can literally go anywhere and nothing will happen to her because
that should have been the case. We shouldn't be sitting back and say, well, what would you wear? Were you drunk? How is it your fault that somebody chose to exercise their power over you? Because rape is never about sexuality. It's about people exercising their power. It's about people feeling the right to say, yo, shit is mine, give me. It's never about sexual arousal. It's about power. But let's continue.
Every guy knows that if he looks at her the wrong way, he'll get ruined, right? Now it's the guy who has to take care of himself, has to be situationally aware.
You've always had to be situationally aware. That's the thing. You've always have to be. This reminds me of those motherfuckers who sit back and say, well, I'm being oppressed because I can't rule over you. The fuck? The fuck? Oh, I need to be careful how I speak to women now. You should have always had to be careful. Oh, I need to be careful that I don't do anything that makes it seem like I'm trying to be aggressive. Tell you what. If you do some of the same shit, if some of the same shit did to you by somebody you didn't want, would you fucking like it? But let's continue.
Has to be looking around, knowing who the dangerous people are, and avoiding them, and avoiding any situation that can bring the wrath of all this bureaucracy on your head, because it will happen. So don't play with fire. Be smart.
All right, so yeah, like that shit. I I don't know, guys. Like maybe I'm missing something where I just feel that a lot of that was just so fucking awful because he is literally saying that, well, women are gonna lie to actually get you in bed, especially if you don't want them, and then they're gonna ruin your reputation. Like, I I don't understand that, and maybe because I've never felt that my reputation was that bad where I was actually can be accused of being predatory. Now, accuse me of being an asshole. Yeah, you're right. Fuck. And even when you saw it that like women lied, the truth just comes out in the fucking end. But for somebody to actually sit back and say that, oh well, all women are lie, especially if you turn them down, it just seems shallow to me. It seems kind of like you're looking for a problem, and I don't I don't fucking know. Like I don't fucking know. But I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna reset the camera right quick, and hold on. Maybe I just need to do this for right now. And yep, hold on. I'm gonna reset the camera right quick, and we're gonna actually work on the next video. And let me bring this up. One of these days, I'm gonna get as many cameras set up as Coach Red did. I got the camera set up. Let me just double check something. Ooh, y'all. Let's see. Alright. Still need to orient the camera a little bit higher. There we go. And let's go ahead and put that back on. Yeah. All right. Bam. Spider-Man. Woohoo. We're gonna draw in a little bit later. Let me actually update the information on the stream. Give me a second, guys. Go update, and I'm actually just doing a lot of fucking. I owe you guys a stream, and that's what I'm breaking down. You guys are free for the weekend. And I've been actually going back to Spider-Man. every now and again because I just kind of want to. I want to get every trophy that I can. I've actually gotten the platinum already, but I want to actually get this one. So go ahead. And by the way, guys, remember to like and subscribe. Let's work on another video. So let's see. Don't have enough time for that. What am I gonna do now? Let's do O'Shea. All right.
5-hour energy.
Let's have that play in the background. And by the way, guys, what I would really enjoy if you guys can actually send me some clips of just videos if you want to actually have me cover them and actually I know with Jada, it's just like it's one of those things where it's just like you don't think that they can actually get as bad as they are, but they get really fucking bad. But I want you guys to send me some clips so I can actually dissect them and go over them. Have no problem with doing that for everybody who's watching it. Remember, like and subscribe. So let's go.
So Snoop Dogg made a video responding to Gayle King and her comments about Kobe Bryant. As we know, Snoop Dogg is a very big time Lakers fan. Always has been so. He's very active in the games. He knows all the players. He's a big Long Beach Poly High School fan. I mean, Snoop USC. Snoop is just real LA, okay? And him and Kobe were close. At least from what I know. They at least were cool friends. They knew of each other. So he took Kobe Bryant's death really tough, right?
Now I can understand this, and that's the thing. Like, your friend died, and I'm not gonna say that Snoop wasn't out of bounds with the way he responded, but at least that anger was genuine. Like, your friend died, and you bringing up some shit. Now, I'm not one to like lionize the dead, but that was kind of really it was a fucked up ass move, like, for real. Like, my friend died and you talking about allegations. Let his motherfucking body get cold before you actually start doing this shit and bringing this shit up. But no, like, ironically, Gayle shows some journalistic integrity by bringing up, like, hey, this is like some good and some bad shit in his life. It's a shame that Gayle King couldn't actually address, you know, some of the shit that was, I don't know, the blatant fucking problems that you actually seen on other shit that she was a part of, say like the Democratic fucking debate that she was a part of. She wasn't aggressive then, but she wanted to be aggressive to a dead man who can't defend himself. But yeah, the media isn't biased. But let's continue.
Everybody knows that Gayle King is wrong. And he said, he called her a bitch, a couple other negative terms, said, you got better stop tripping before we come get you. Now, that can mean a whole different things, right? And we all know that threats can mean a lot. It's who is interpreting the threat, how they feel about it. But Susan Rice.
What? Shit. Is it anything? Oh, shit. Let me turn that music. I didn't realize I had the music up. Alright. So, yeah. Let's continue.
Who... Former National Security Advisor I believe it was to Obama. But she had a message for Snoop. And she retweeted that this is despicable. Gayle King is one of the most principled, fair, and tough journalists alive. Snoop, back the F off. You come for Gayle King, you will come against the army, you will lose, and it won't be pretty.
All right. So just addressing that point. Yeah, of course. Specifically, he shouldn't have made a threat. But Gayle King is not fucking principled. She's part of the fucking establishment. And Susan Rice was defending her because Susan Rice is in the club. And I got my own problems with Susan Rice. Her fucking policies, the fucking fact that she was part of the Obama foreign policy team that was warmongering and actually helped maintain a fucking drone war. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck about the shit that O'Shea was talking about. Because, like, you guys see the title. He's a fucking idiot. But if you want to address Susan Rice, come at her about some shit about her fucking record. But we're going to hear this bullshit. Let's go.
When I hear this kind of narrative, because you're basically defending what Gayle King said about Kobe Bryant, I really want to know who you're married to, okay? Now, Gayle King, I believe, had a black husband, or at least does. But in the case of Susan Rice, I wanted to know. Because obviously, you have no respect for Kobe Bryant's family. You have no respect for his fans. You're talking about something that was washed up, thrown out the window, most likely was not even the truth. The lady had...
For one, like, what the fuck about who she's married to got anything to do about the fact that how she feels about a subject? Like I said, if you have an issue, yes, if you want to actually say that there is an issue with, I don't know, the way somebody's whole perception is about something, like, if you want to say that fucking Snoop was out of line, yeah, of course. But O'Shea doesn't have anything to do with who she's married to. Come on now. Like, if I base everybody's decisions off of who the fuck they're married to, then, like, you know, some people would just have some shitty situations. But let's continue.
had like 4 different semen examinations or at least inside of her, right? 4 types of different seminal fluids from different men.
I mean, like, oh, okay, like, that, okay, dude, why you slut shaming, man? For real, like, and then, God, because we know the power that some of these people actually had, and because we know situations where people were actually just, you know, bad shit happened to people, or people weren't believed just because they're seen as promiscuous, and because they're promiscuous, then they couldn't have been raped, because if they want more than one penis, then they must want all the penis. Like, seriously. I don't get that. I don't understand that bullshit. But, you know, women gonna be whores, right? Women gonna actually, if a woman's not chaste, then she must be asking for it. It's like, that's how this bullshit sounds. For real. But let's continue.
Obviously, it's a bullshit case because he didn't get convicted of it. But you asked him. So how can somebody defend this? So I had to go.
Being actually found guilty of a case means beyond a shadow of a doubt. they didn't have enough evidence to take it to court. That's the thing. And again, we're not. The thing is, it shouldn't have been litigated right at the time of his death. It shouldn't have been litigated right after the time of his death. If this person is such a great journalist, it was a gadget question. It was meant to push somebody and push a needle and prod somebody at the time of their friend passing. Because this was asked to, I forget what WNBA basketball player was asked to. It was literally a way of just saying, but this person is a bad guy, right? In the middle of an interview when they're talking about other shit. Yeah, exactly. This is that guy. Little Bill. Little Big Bill.
Look and see, who is Susan Rice married to? So Susan Rice is married to, if I'm not mistaken, Ian O'Cameron. Now, who is Ian O'Cameron, okay? Ian O'Cameron is a ABC News producer. And I believe they met at Stanford. Okay.
So, yeah, she's part of the establishment. Like, seriously, if you wanted to make the case is, well, these motherfuckers who part of the establishment, they look out for each other, then I would go for you, dog. But just like, you're making a case that because reasons, because of who she's married to. Not that they're part of the establishment, because who she's married to, then she must have something against Kobe because of reasons. But let's continue.
Okay. Something like this, or someplace, I don't know where they met. I just know that he's white.
You admit that all you know that he's white. Like, seriously, like, what the fuck, man? But let's continue.
He's white. So let me go to that. He's a white person. Typically, and I hate to say this, most blacks in interracial relationships, especially with those that are white, usually that I've met, and this is just my own
Okay, Vegeta, you got me on that one, man.
perception of things. They're anti-black. Usually most blacks in interracial relationships that I know are, especially the women who are married to men who are white.
Wait, what? What? Really? Are we doing this? Are we actually saying this? Oh my God, like, no, maybe they just like the person. Maybe they would date just anybody. I don't understand why somebody has to be anti-black because they are dating somebody from a different background. I wouldn't even say the different race, because, like, we're all fucking humans. We all have the same squishy parts, and more importantly, we all have the same pokey parts, more or less. So I don't give a fuck if it's like I've said it before. Vagina is all pink and it all stink. Like, the shit. Like, I don't give a fuck. If I connect with that person, I connect with that person. I don't care what that's attached to it. And just because I may date outside of my race, doesn't mean that I'm, against black people or, like, no. Maybe I just want to have some fun with this person that I'm having fun with. Oh, but you don't see it like that. People like O'Shea thinks, well, I may have an issue, so that's why I'm not going to do it. I have an issue with, if I do it, it's because I would have this issue. It's projection. That's not how this works, dog. But let's continue.
Those women, in my opinion, like Susan Rice. When it's a black woman with a white man, they may never say it. It may never come off as that. These sisters have some issue with black men, right? They just never voice it. Or
Wait, why though? Why do you believe that? Please tell me. Citation needed, dog. Let's do that.
have the opportunity to voice it until now. Until Snoop Dogg comes out and says it's about Gayle King. Here comes the swirl, okay? And this lady comes out and says, you come for Gayle King, you come against an army. Let's start right there. An army of what? Susan Rice? I'm curious. What is the army you're talking about? An army of what? An army of black people?
Oh, okay. Again, Vegeta, that was actually funny. That was actually good, man. But I don't get what I don't get what O'Shea is actually saying. Like, of course it's not an army of black people. Like, seriously. The army is the fact that people are part of the fucking establishment, man. Like, for real, dog. Like, I don't think he gets, like, the tone. It wasn't that Gayle King is just, it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't think he gets exactly what the fucking problem and who she was fighting for. She wasn't fighting for the fact that Gayle King is a black woman. She was fighting because she's part of the respectable people. Like, for real, that's the reason why she was fighting. But he just automatically went towards, like, yeah, the army of the establishment. Yeah, exactly. He actually just went to, like, oh yeah, because she's fucking she's married to a white guy. She's automatically gave up her, her Negro card. Like, I don't get it. Like, maybe, I don't know. I just don't fucking know, because it just doesn't make sense to me of what O'Shea here is talking about. But let's continue.
Because we know that's not the army. The army of black people are heavily criticizing Gayle King. Now you have Mark Lamont, who's a simp, and you have other guys like that. But I mean, for the most part, most people are talking about Gayle King. So what army are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the white man. So you want to go get Zaddy on Snoop? Is that what you want to do? You talk.
Wait, what? What? I'm confused. I'm lost. I'm confused. Nobody said. Nobody said. Nobody said that, dog. Yeah, exactly. No, Snoop is not one that knows nuance, except for the nuance of rolling blunts. That's not his thing. And maybe he can't actually give it in more of a measured in response when he's actually speaking with people. But the fact that, like, if you actually go and look at some of the shit that was said afterwards, like, literally he says, like, I was pissed. You talked about my friend. And people didn't take it as, like, you can look at the Red Table, like, interview that he did. It was, you're talking about the fucking establishment. I'm part of the establishment, and you're talking about it. Like, that's what this shit literally was. It was, you're talking about the establishment. And that's how so many people took it. But this fucking fool, oh, yeah. Like, I don't even get what his fucking hang up was. But let's continue.
Talking about you're going to get Zaddy on Snoop. Because you don't got no black community army. See, Snoop Dogg is talking more from the black community perspective about her. And we know that a lot of black people are on cold with what Snoop Dogg is saying. So where is your army coming from? Oh, Zaddy's army.
God. Oh God. Oh, let's just let him go.
You want to get the lawyers involved. Oh, you want to get the feminists involved. So you want to get the white folks involved. That's what you're talking about.
No, God, no. This, like, how many, like, literally, how many fucking, how many people really believe that? He would. Let's continue.
And you know, what's so funny is, whenever you think that you are actually in the in crowd, because you have a white husband or a white wife, what these people don't know is you're just as quickly removed for one mistake. Like, this is what, I mean, some people never get their Negro wake-up calls, and typically it's never women, it's typical men that get it. So women are more kind of secure in the white spots, in the white places, or in a white position. But, see, Susan Rice, they can get rid of your ass, too.
Okay, so, story time. This is my problem that I have with some African Americans where they actually, everything is all black and pro-black and all this other good bullshit. And I get it. There are pride that we should actually have in our community and our history. But to say, like, literally, there are people that I've actually talked to over the last fucking couple of days where it's they want to couch stuff in race. And race is actually a factor of how we deal with shit. I am not naive enough to think that we don't deal with shit in a racial way, in a racial undertones. And yeah, I am still baffled because I actually literally believe that people would actually be better. But what gets me is that there's been a shift in a lot of body politics to people that are respectable and people who are fucking made it or quote unquote sold out or however you want to say it, where they are more and less, they're more and more about power. They're more and more about being part of the club. They're more and more being about, you know, the respectable ruling class. And then you get idiots like this motherfucker who sit back and just like, oh, they gonna drop you the first chance they get. Yeah, of course. Racial politics play a key point in it. But really, the quickest way to get dropped is to lose that motherfucking money. Lose that motherfucking status. Oh, you dropped in a motherfucking minute. And yes, people build bases of power where they, like Oprah Winfrey, she will never really lose her base of power because she made her money off of paying people to say, oh, Oprah. But in reality, it's that money and that power that keeps you in the club. Susan Rice, she's a power player because she was part of a fucking administration. Just like, I mean, like, I know it's funny, but Condoleezza Rice still holds sway and pull. I don't get it. It's just like the real new divide in this country is socioeconomic. We need to start thinking about this bullshit, because what ends up happening is people are being divided by those lines more and more. And that issue of race, yeah, it's still a deep dividing issue. But we're all starting to look the same to the upper ruling class that we quote unquote have. But let's continue.
You could just be going like anybody else. So while you're over there cuffing for Zaddy and all the people, trust me. And this is the thing. These are people who hide behind white society to attack other black people. The same people that Gayle King works for. And it's amazing how much people will do to hate blacks when you're black. But I guess when you get Zaddy and you don't hate black, so, you hide in other ways. See, black people that typically involve themselves in these things, they show you without even telling you.
Let's continue. Let him explain himself.
And Susan Rice don't like black people. This is really what it is. You know what she said was insensitive. You know what she said offended blacks. It offended people around the world. It was unnecessary, but you want to protect. But you do so with the power of not only your own community, you do so under the power of Zaddy.
It's what kills me is he sounds jealous. He sounds jealous. Not only jealous of the fact that Susan Rice has a fucking husband because he doesn't have a fucking wife. Not only the fact that she has money and he fucking doesn't, but she has status, he fucking doesn't. And she has power and he fucking doesn't. It sounds as if the miserly approach of somebody who literally is upset over the fact that somebody has a stake that he doesn't have and it's fucking pissing him off. And that's what a lot of O'Shea's videos sound like. He's pissed off because somebody else has a status that he doesn't have. And how dare them? How dare them that they're not wallowing in filth like the rest of us.
That's typically what a lot of brothers complain about. Always calling, what Susan Rice is doing is basically, I'm going to call the police on you. Or I'm going to get such and such on you. I'm going to tell the man on you. I'm going to go get child support on you. Susan, let me tell you this, sister. Nobody gives a damn what you're talking about, okay? You are with Zaddy. Your job is to be zaddying it up.
Now, mind you, we're still not talking about how, dude, for real. I will literally go about that. Like, I will say, the original post, Snoop was a little bit emotional. And him being a public figure, like he's, like, fucking O'Shea is talking about Susan Rice. Him being a public figure, he actually probably needed to modulate the way he said it. But it was his friend that fucking died, like, for real. Now, the fact that O'Shea thinks that it's a white-black thing, dude, like, for real, dog? And then to say, like, oh, it's like calling the cops on somebody. Like, I am fucking dumbfounded. Like, for real. Because it just seems as if again, you it was a situation. It came off completely wrong, and it was actually addressed. But let's continue.
Okay. You've been out of black issues for a while. You've been out of the black community. Nobody respects you in the black community, okay? Trust me. And I'm sure when Snoop Dogg looked at that, he's like looking at you like, "What are you're gonna do nothing? Like, what are you talking about?" He didn't waste his time responding to you because who are you? Okay.
Was somebody who was part of a fucking administration for the Obama administration. That's who the fuck she was, dog. And for you to disrespect that because she's dating somebody that's not black, like for real. Say what you want. And I fucking hate the hate. I have the hate for the establishment as much as anybody. But people listen to her. Dumbass.
Okay. Nobody in the black community gives a damn about Susan Rice. At all. Trust.
I wish they could say the same thing about fucking Joe Biden, but you know.
Nobody's cared since 1992, for the most part.
Wait, what? You are the fool. Yeah, he's all the fool. Because that's when she married somebody white. That's why nobody cares. Let's continue.
No matter what accomplishments, but once you make that step, that's it. But it just goes to show you how many people really dislike and hate on black men, will go overboard to come after brothers. That's my take on it.
Just because you checked about something, the shit that you said, don't mean that it's hating on black men. You have the right to be. You have the right to say what you want to say, but you don't have the right to go fucking uncriticized. You piece of shit. See, just like I did. But let's continue.
Subscribe, hit the bell, like the video. As you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. Check out my first comment pinned to the top. Get your black men are perfect t-shirts, guys.
Oh God! Every time he pushes that shit, like literally, I'm reminding him saying that he doesn't want women buying the t-shirts. Like he literally said that on the stream. But what is it? It is about 10:30, guys, and I wanted to thank everybody who's watched. Please like, share, and subscribe. I want to thank everybody who's enjoyed my show, from the art that I did to the Spider-Man gameplay. Thank you guys for actually watching, and you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.